Hi my Year 9s, today we're looking at the textured hand task, and I've made this film just to show you how to do it. So this is all about texture, and I've got some really good examples of different types of textures, because texture is something that is how something feels, if it's rough or soft. So we've got beautiful feathers here, we've got some cork, some sort of funky scales, some glittery stuff, some fake grass and some fur, and here's a feather that I've drawn because I love drawing feathers. So and there's a little quail. So I really like drawing texture, so I'm going to show you how to do it in these pencils, and these are lead pencils. We've got different grades of pencils. So it starts, the normal pencils are HB, if you can see the HB there. And so if you've got that, that's probably what you've got at home, and that's fine to use, but I'm going to choose to use a darker one, which is probably like a 4. I love 4Bs, or a 5B, or a 6B, because they're nice and dark. I found a 4B, so I'm going to choose to do this. Now, so on the side of your task sheet, if you don't have this sheet at home, because you don't have a, this is what I want you to do. This is for people that don't have a printer. You can do this yourself. I've got some rings on. You might have some rings on too. So this is how you're going to draw your hand. Okay, that's if you don't have the task sheet. But we can probably, I just drew on the other one, so you can see that's my hand that I did the other day. So on the side of the task sheet, you've got all these different examples of textures. So the first texture I'm going to show you is fur. Now I've done it a little bit in coloured pencils too, which I'll show you at the end. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do short, fluffy, short hair. So see how I'm doing it all the same size? And now I'm going to do the next row. It doesn't have to be like all the same. It can be a bit rough and bit... because sometimes fur moves. Sometimes it's a bit curly. So there's some fur. Now let's do some hair. This corner is hair. So when I draw hair, like it might have a curl in it. And I draw, sometimes we make the mistake of doing hair as just one line, but they're actually, it's always a shape in there. And it curves around. And you have lots of strands and waves. If you look at your fingers, you have a thing called a fingerprint. So we're going to do that next. Although this looks a little bit like a fingerprint. I might have to make it more like hair now. So let's do the fingerprint. This is like a fingerprint. Everyone has a fingerprint, and everyone's fingerprint is different. Now let's do bricks. Bricks are like it's like a grid. These are pretty uniform bricks, and you go like this. But you want to put some tone in there, you might want to do some. Now let's do some scales. I love scales. Let's do them here. Sometimes scales look like, you have scales on snakes and scales on fish, but then feathers look like scales too, but they're just long. Here's some scales. Oh my God, I can hear them. So I want you to fill the whole page with different one. What's another one? Let's do some wood. You know, you have a wood grain. There's some wood grain here. Have a look. There's a wood grain. If you've got anything at home that you can look at, that'd be great. Now this wood grain comes like this. It's like they're called knots. Now what about some tone? So I think sometimes it's good if we put a bit of tone in it. That's why in the bricks I've got the two little corners. And I love cross-hatching. That's one of my favourite textures. Do the little lines one way, then the other way. One way, and then top the other way. Once again, it's a bit like a checkerboard. It's texture. In our next task, we're going to look at colour and doing it with colour, which makes it look even more realistic. Perhaps we can choose a snake or our favourite animal to use to make. Okay, thank you.